Assembly cabal of today is worse than any cabal that anybody may find anywhere in our national governance system.
A lot of secrets are now finally coming out. People are beginning to understand why Senator Natasha is being treated the way she is. I came across this video online today and honestly it shocks me. Like former President Olusegun Obasanjo called the National Assembly a den of corruption. He even described them as a gang of unarmed robbers. And this is not just an offhand remark. This is a former president who seen it all, saying what many have only whispered behind closed doors. In that video, Obasanjo didn't hold back. He spoke about the deep rot, the cover deal, and the silent money buys in the corridor of power. And the timing is perfect because just around the same period, Senator Natasha Akpoti was speaking to, sharing stories, not just opinion, about what she's faced ever she stepped into that seat in the National Assembly. Harassment, isolation, attempt to shut her voice down completely. Even after her suspension, Natasha didn't stop talking. She revealed things that honestly would make the average Nigerian question everything we thought we knew about how this country is run. It's like her presence exposed something they never expected, and you start asking yourself, was her suspension really about what they claimed, or was it about silencing someone who refused to play by the old rules? When Obasanjo said den of corruption, it wasn't just a metaphor, it was a mirror into why lawmakers like Natasha face endless roadblock, because if you don't blend in, if you don't bow, they make it hard for you to even breathe in that place. But Natasha's courage is now opening eyes, and Obasanjo's words have just confirmed what many suspected but were too scared to say. You just have to see this video, and that is why I want you to watch this video to the end, and don't forget to like and share.
Assembly cabal of today is worse than any cabal that anybody may find anywhere in our national governance system. Members of the National Assembly pay themselves allowances for staff and offices they do not have or maintain. Once you are a member, you are co-opted, and your mouth is stuffed with rottenness and corruption that you cannot opt out, as you go home with not less than 15 million naira a month for a senator and 10 million naira a month for a member of House of Representatives. The National Assembly is a den of corruption by a gang of unarmed robbers. Once when I was president, I asked outside auditors, both normal and forensic, to audit the account of the National Assembly. They frustrated it on the basis of separation of power. They claimed they had oversight responsibility for their corruption and misdemeanor, and nothing can be done. It is like asking a thief to watch over himself. There must be full disclosure of all relevant fiscal information in a timely and systematic manner at all levels. Ganging up to intimidate and threaten the life of whistleblower is deplorable and undemocratic. What of the so-called constituency projects, which is a veritable source of corruption? These constituency projects are spread over the budget for members of the National Assembly, for which they are the initiator and the contractor, directly or by proxy. And money will be fully drawn, with the project only partially executed or not executed at all.
As the chair of the local content committee. When I resumed as chair, I have the bank statement here. It's the Sterling, it's an account under the name Senate Committee on Local Content, and the account is with Sterling Bank, and the account number is 00662082209. And when I resumed as chair of the committee, the account balance was zero. And then gradually, at the time I handed over to the next chairman, the account had 13,649,335 naira and 4 kobo. The first month after my resumption, the clerk of the committee, whose name is well listed there, Mrs. Edith Aja, she approached me. She told me that every month, every committee in the National Assembly receives 950,000 naira as running or operational costs. And so that I said, okay, what is the money supposed to be used for? She said, it's for logistics, mail dispatches, whenever refreshments for meetings that we have, and all that. I said, okay, so if 950,000 naira has hit the account, we are yet to call for any meeting, so I think leave that money there, or is there a problem? She said, yes, the trend or the norm is that if there is no event that utilizes the money, we are supposed to share the money. I said, how do you mean? She said, the money is usually shared. I, as the chairperson, I will take a part of it. I'll give some to my deputy, and the rest of the money will be shared amongst the staff of the local content committee. And I was like, did you say that is what happens? She said, yes, that is what my predecessor did, and that is what happens in all the committees in the National Assembly. I said, well, you know what? That money, if it's meant to service the operations of the committee, it's not meant to enrich my pockets. It's not meant to enrich the pockets of the staff. I would not want to collect the so-called impress. So I would advise that you keep that money in the account, and we build the money, we use it for whatever it's needed. If we have to buy office equipment, print stationaries, then we use that money. And I promise this, and the bank statement is here. Anyone who has access to it, I have called the account number. You can check. We have gradually built the account. We use there was a time I approved the money last year for the purchase of a printer, because it made no sense that we kept on spending so much money printing outside. I was like, you know what, let us have a printer in-house. We bought a printer. We also have printed lots of materials, but basically the money, I never took a kobo out of that in the name of impress. I never gave my deputy then, who is Senator Ede Dafinone, any impress. He can verify and attest to that. Neither did I allow any of the staff to take any money, because that is taxpayers' money, and the money was meant to service the office. Now, the second allegation there is that, oh, but by the way, it would impress you to know that ever since I left office, the money has been withdrawn by the clerk. About 5 million was withdrawn. And 2 days after my removal again, 4.9 million was withdrawn. So as at today, the bank, that account that had 13 million has only 123,000.
We are talking about punishing MDAs. They will come on TV and they will say, this erring MDA did this. All the atrocities that are being committed in the National Assembly, who punished them? We don't follow the budget process the way it is. They will budget money for instance, staff budget, money for training, money for clinic, money for sports, money for books, money. They collapse it. It is in the National Assembly I say hearing about collapse. What is collapse? Sir, both of you know what collapse is. Collapse. The money, now, allowances that are budgeted for National Assembly staff is collapsed. So, we as citizens, because we are still citizens, first, before we became National Assembly staff, and then you have no power to even go and hold a press conference, because we are sworn to oath of silence. So I can't even tell the world how I feel. Allowances that we are constitutionally, even, I put it in the Constitution this time, statutory allocation to the National Assembly staff, they collapsed it till now. Some people have retired. It takes over a year, 2 years for them to pay the National Assembly staff their retirement benefit before you start talking of pension. Go and see them. They look like scarecrows. Our former colleagues call us, direct us to beg for money for fuel. They are coming to the National Assembly. You see them standing at the junction into the National Assembly. They can't afford to fuel their cars. So apart from what the Constitution says, themselves, who is looking at the one they are collapsing and chopping? They chop their own, they chop our own. Why am I mad? I am mad because we talk, we don't do. I am mad because nobody listens. Our legislators are not here. We are talking to ourselves. Now we don't have the power to do nothing of all the things we talk about. We are talking about oversight. How do you account for the fact that the flight ticket to go and oversight somebody was paid for that person by the agency? What are you coming to write? You go there, they tell you what to write, they give you money, they quarter you, they give you flight, and the members will come and fight over the money that they gave to them. They will not give the clerk. They will not give the committee assistant that they take with. But it's not even the fact that they didn't give the clerk. Now you are compelled to write a report of what you did not see, what did not happen, and you lie. Me as a Catholic, I will just go for confession first. Then secondly, financing a public hearing. We did a public hearing last year. And then the committee called me to tell me that a consultant was employed to write a report. And then I asked the consultant, were you at the public hearing? He said, no. So what do you want to write? I, Ifoma, we give you material to write the report. I said, no, it's not going to happen. I will not work with you. I put my feet down and I told him I'm not going to work with you. And I sat down because they are looking at us as if we do not have capacity. Me, I'm just 2 steps out of National Assembly for retirement. So right now, my mother says she's not dancing so that people will give her money. It's so that they will see me. So I will say what I want to say. I sat down and I did a proper report of that public hearing. And I took it to the chairman. I said, this is the report. And they were looking at me like, you mean it? I said, yes. Oh, no, you have to change. I said, no, this is what happened. If you want to change it, you now go ahead and change it. But the original report is in my system. I don't use secretaries. I type my report myself. So if they want to change it, they should go ahead and change it. I am waiting.